Welcome back to Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire for some more action from the Women's Pro Series playoffs. We are in the round of 8, otherwise known as the quarterfinals. And this is the second string of these 2-string matches in the round of 8. In this segment, we're actually going to show you 4 matches. The first 2 that you're looking at right now, you can see Judy Bowden versus Melissa Caissie on lanes 7 and 8. Judy has a 7-pin lead after the first string. And on the right pair, Lynn Thomsen is bowling against Kim Pelletier, and Lynn leads by 13 after 1 string. Lynn came into this tournament as the top seed in the playoffs, having amassed the highest point total in the regular season. And there's a strike by Kim Pelletier in the second box. Let's take a closer look at it. Pretty solid 1-3 pocket hit. And the 7-pin is the last one to go. Great shot right there by Kim Pelletier. That will cut into the lead held by Lynn Thomsen. Lynn records a 10 box. And meanwhile, Melissa Caissie punches out the 1-8-9. Pretty good head pin hit, but not much to show for it. She just hit a little too high. Judy Bowden with... And there's a strike by Lynn Thomsen in the third box. Have a look at it on replay. Kind of a light 1-3 pocket hit, and the head pin goes to the sidewall and wipes out the 2-5. Meanwhile, I started to say Judy Bowden had a 7 fill on the spare that she recorded in the first box. That gives her a lead of 15 against Melissa Caissie. Actually, it's 17 now through 2 boxes. Judy leads by 10 in this string and had 7 pins coming in. Kim Pelletier with a 7 fill on the strike and 9 in the third box. Lynn Thomsen filling that strike. And you saw Melissa Caissie threw another good ball right on the head pin on lane 8 in the third box. And again has not a lot to look at. She gives it a good try. She had that 3, 4, 8, and 10 with a piece of wood that she tried to use. And she got the 3 and 8, but not the 4 and 10. And Lynn Thomsen had a tough piece of wood there in the fourth in front of the 2-4. Kim Pelletier with the spare. Lynn with a nice ball in the 1-2 pocket, but nothing to show for it. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kim Pelletier puts 8 on the spare in the fourth box. And there's a great shot by Judy Bowden over on lane 7. You can see 3, 6, 7, 10, and it goes pretty quickly with that wood over there, but that might have gone without the wood. Very nice, clean shot. Kim Pelletier with a spare in the fifth. She didn't catch much of that 6-pin, but she just got enough to kick it off the wall and take out the 10. So she has 64 with the ball working after 5. Lynn Thomsen has 56. So it's a 5-pin lead for Lynn minus whatever Kim puts on the spare when they get back up. So you will see the second half of that match shortly, but right now Celeste Buckmore and Marion will step up on lanes 9 and 10. Melissa Caissie and Judy Bowden finish up their first half. Melissa with a nice out for a 10. She has a 43 half and Judy Bowden with a 60 half. So Judy leads by 24 through 5. Marion Johnson with a 9 drop, but then she slipped by the 4 pin. Maria Mazzarella and Lois Queen are up on lane 7 and 8. Maria comes into this string with a 7 pin lead after that first string. First box in the other match, Marion Johnson had a 9 and Celeste Buckmore with an 8. Marion has a nice 1-2 pocket hit in the second box, but she doesn't have a very good lead. 5-7-9 with a piece of wood that, as you can see, it took out the 5-9, but she couldn't figure out a way to get the 7. So it'll be an open box in the second. That'll be a 9 for Marion. And a 9 also for Celeste Buckmore. And this match is about as close as it can be. Celeste had a 1 pin lead coming in, 109 to 108 after one string, but now very, very close match. Marion and Celeste. And Marion just has a good chance to make a spare in the third, but doesn't quite catch the head pin. It'll be a 10 box for Marion Johnson in the third. Celeste Buckmore with a 9, so that means that Marion has taken the lead by 1. She was trailing by 1 coming in, but leads this string by 2. Marion with an 8 drop. She has a 9 and 10 in the fourth box. But that piece of wood is rolling further away from the 9 and 10. It's going to be pretty tough to kick it over into the right corner. Actually, I think there might even be a double wood there. And you can see there was a double wood. This didn't really do much for Marion. And that'll be a 9 box. Marion Johnson. And a 10 for Celeste Buckmore. And meanwhile, Lois Queen is also looking at the 9, 10, and she's not quite able to make it, utilizing that wood to try to get the ball to cover the 10 pin. Well, it's a 10 box for Maria Mazzarella. Maria still leads by 5 pins. She had the 7 pin lead coming in, and Lois Queen leads this string by 2. Wow, and a couple of nice tries by Marion Johnson and Celeste Buckmore. But they're both going to be open here in the fifth. So Marion Johnson takes a 1 pin lead halfway through the second string. She leads this string by 2, but Celeste Buckmore had a 1 pin lead coming in. So they will give way to Kim Pelletier and Lynn Thomsen to finish their match. At this point, Lynn Thomsen, well, we'll take a look at the scoreboard. Lynn Thomsen still has the lead over Kim Pelletier by 5, but Kim is working on a spare. And in the other match, Judy Bowden has a 24-pin lead over Melissa Caissie. And there Kim Pelletier drops 7 on the spare. So she takes a 2-pin lead over Lynn Thomsen through 5. And if she misses that spare, she had a 1-2-4 and wasn't able to bring it down. And Lynn Thomsen with a nice try there, but she had the 4, 6, 7, and a couple pieces of wood that gave her a shot at it, but wasn't able to cover the 6. 10 box by Kim Pelletier and a 9 by Lynn Thomsen. So Kim Pelletier now leads by 3 through 6 boxes. Kim Pelletier with a 9 drop in the 7th. And Lynn Thomsen with a half Worcester left side. Kim misses the 8-pin. So she'll be open in the 7th. And Lynn Thomsen with a great shot for the spare in the 7th frame. You can see on this half Worcester left, she goes to the outside of the head pin. And the head pin goes to the sidewall and takes out the entire right side. Very timely spare. So she can retake the lead. Anything that she gets over 3 on her first ball in the 8th will give her the lead once again. Kim Pelletier in the 8th has a 6 drop. She's got 2, 4, 6, 7. Piece of wood in there as well. And Lynn Thomsen drops 6 on the spare, so she retakes the lead by 3. But there's a great spare by Kim Pelletier on that split. Take a look at it once again on replay, and she cuts that 2-pin over into the 6. Superlative shot right there to take a page out of Bob Foraker's book. And Lynn Thomsen had a chance to make that spare using the wood behind and around the head pin, but she wasn't able to hit the head pin on the second ball. So she'll take a 9 box, and that means that she leads by 2, but again Kim Pelletier can retake the lead because she's working on a spare. So anything over 2 and Kim will take the lead. Meanwhile, Judy Bowden with a spare in the 8th. She's looking like she's probably going to move on to the next round, as she has a sizable lead over Melissa Caissie at this point. So Kim Pelletier looking to retake the lead on this spare fill, and she misses the head pin by quite a bit, but gets a nice break and drops 9, leaving the 8 pin. So Kim takes the lead by 7. She's got the 8 pin, some wood out to the right, and it goes. She missed the 8 pin, but the wood came off the wall and took it out. Looks good on the scoreboard, and that looks good on the scoreboard too. That's another great spare by Lynn Thomsen, and we'll take a look at it on replay. 1, 2, 7, and 10, and that was very clean for Lynn, and pretty much mandatory at this point in the proceedings, because Pelletier is leading by 7 and working on the spare. So Kim and Lynn both have these very important spare fills coming up. Kim Pelletier stuffs it in the 1-3 pocket again and drops 9. That means that Lynn absolutely must have a big fill and another mark. And she drops 8. And if Kim can make this spare, that'll pretty much close it out, and she does, with the with the spare in the 10th, third spare in a row, as Tim Lipke goes down to check a piece of wood. So if Kim is able to get anything over 2, she would close it out even if Lynn makes this spare. And Lynn does make the spare. So she's still alive if Kim should punch out or foul or something unusual. But if Kim is able to get more than 2 on this fill ball, she will close out the match. And that's going to do it. Kim Pelletier will upset top seed Lynn Thomsen in the second round. She has a 9 fill and a 148 game. Really tremendous bowling at the end of this match. And Lynn Thomsen adds a 9 for a 127, but that's going to be a win for Kim Pelletier by a score of 244 to 236 over Lynn Thomsen in the second round. Meanwhile, Judy Bowden closed out her match with a 224 to 198 win over Melissa Caissie. So Judy and Melissa will give way to Maria Mazzarella and Lois Queen, while Celeste Buckmore and Marion Johnson finish their match on lanes 9 and 10. Very, very close matches here. So this string between Marion Johnson and Celeste Buckmore is tied, meaning that Celeste has a 1-pin lead overall. That's what she had coming in. Celeste with a 5 drop, and Marion with, I think that's a 4 drop. And that's a great shot by Celeste Buckmore to record a spare in the 7th. Marion trying to match it, but she had a very difficult lead and still has the 6 and 10. That'll be a 9 box for Marion Johnson. So Celeste Buckmore now has a 2-pin lead plus whatever she puts on the spare, and that's a strike. So it's a 12-pin lead now for Celeste, and a strike by Marion Johnson right on top of it. So let's take a look at both of these in slow motion. A couple of good solid 1-2 pocket hits. That one by Celeste Buckmore. 5-pin is the last one to go, and then Marion needs an answer here, and that's a pretty good answer right there. Solid in the 1-2 pocket. So with 2 boxes to go, Celeste Buckmore leads by 12 pins, and both she and Marion Johnson are working on strikes that they threw in the 8th. So these fills are going to be very important. Meanwhile, the match between Lois Queen and Maria Mazzarella is very close. Lois has a 7-pin to work on in the 8th box, and she converts that. And that's going to be just a 5 fill on the strike for Celeste Buckmore. So Marion Johnson can, well, she adds a 9 fill on her strike, so she cuts the lead to, what does she cut it to? It's, Celeste leads by 8 right now. Now Celeste leads by 7, as Marion had the 10 box in the 9th frame. So this one's going right down to the wire. Celeste Buckmore against Marion Johnson. Celeste with an 8 drop. She leaves the 3 and 10. And Marion Johnson also with an 8. And of course that means that Marion is going to have to make this spare. She has to make this spare, otherwise Celeste Buckmore will move on to the 3rd round. And Marion with the spare. Every pin is important. And Celeste Buckmore with an 8 box. So that means that with 1 ball to go, Marion Johnson needs 5 to tie, 6 to win. Going down to the last ball. And that is a 5 drop. So that means that they will have a 1-string roll-off. Marion and Celeste are tied at 2:15. So they're going to go into extra innings. Meanwhile, Lois Queen is going to move on with a win over Maria Mazzarella. We'll give you the final score as soon as she finishes the strike fill here, and we'll just see what she can do with that. It's going to be a 7 fill and a 104 game. So Lois Queen moves on with a 218 to 202 win over Maria Mazzarella. Let's run down all 4 of the matches. Judy Bowden defeats Melissa Caissie. Kim Pelletier with the upset of the tournament so far over number 1 seed Lynn Thomsen, 244 to 236 with that 148 game. Lois Queen defeats Maria Mazzarella, and Celeste Buckmore and Marion Johnson, just to give you a cliffhanger, they are tied at 2:15 and they have 1 more string to go to break the tie, and we will have that later in the week.